What's going on, Aquarius? And welcome to my channel. I'm sorry, I was a little aggressive. You're my last one today. I've been cranking today, Aquarius. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal week so far. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Aquarius. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. Because it's General Energy Weekly Spread. We're just winging it here with those dance moves, Aquarius. Eventually I'm going to get up on this chair and start spinning. But with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, there may be some messages in here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Oh, let me fix that a little bit. There we go. So your space has been cleansed. Crystals. Feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Aquarius. So I'm going to be pulling a few oracle cards from this deck here, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies, people, as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching Aquarius, so definitely check them out. Very intuitive group. I think you'd really enjoy them. But let's go ahead and get into your first card here. Ooh, Aquarius. All right, I see you. We're getting our flirt on here. Because you got the first card of Pisces, which is the Roses card. And with this card, this is a card of love, romance, affection, appreciation, devotion, fond, delighted, high emotional IQ, gifts, friendship, infatuated, enchanted, passion, fidelity, tender, yearning, and attached. All right, Aquarius. So the energy that's coming through here is the romance. All right, I see you. And you know what? Maybe part of this is, because... And granted, this is forming an opposition with your sign, but Venus just went direct in Leo not too, like maybe a few, how long ago? Not too long ago. But now I feel like when Venus is retrograde, romance and things tend to slow down a little bit. Now it's like the energies are kind of picking back up and getting full steam there. And when you think about just Leo energy, Leo is a very romantic sign. They're all about love, and they're associated with the heart. So maybe for some, maybe we've been, maybe someone's caught your eye there, Aquarius. You've been... Because I'm even thinking, too, your ruler is in Pisces, or one of your rulers, Saturn's going to be in Pisces for the next 3 years. And that is a very loving placement, just Pisces as a sign. So that's a very interesting placement for, someone that's kind of tough as Saturn to be in. But, maybe we've been, just been feeling maybe a little lonely, or, been just wanting to bring a little love or just a little something into our lives. Again, maybe someone caught your eye, and, Aquarius, you are a sign of networking and a sign of friends and things. So maybe this is like, if we haven't been maybe necessarily looking for love, or maybe we've just been having troubles maybe kind of getting out there, maybe this is something, going in like a group, maybe get a couple wing people with you, kind of help you game. Not that I don't feel like you need any help, Aquarius, but that sometimes it's nice to have that kind of support system there, maybe even make it like just like a group thing or something along those lines. But if we're in a relationship, then this might be, needing to, maybe we've been noticing that things have gotten just like maybe a little routine. And, maybe it's time we've been thinking about maybe wanting to spice up things a little bit. Maybe getting yourself some roses, or, well, yourself. I don't know, treat yourself there, Aquarius. We'll talk about that too. But, this could be where it's like we're buying a person maybe some flowers, or, if a flower's a choice, of maybe getting like a little gift, or, I don't know, maybe sprinkle some rose petals around, maybe setting aside some soft or some nice music, getting a bottle of champagne. I see you, you pimp. But also, Aquarius, and if we're not looking for love, this could be something too where you can just treat yourself. Maybe go out there. You don't necessarily need to be looking for romance at the time for you to be expressing love. This could be where, take yourself out on a date. I remember this is one of my favorite stories to tell. I remember this woman that came in, I was working in I worked at this one restaurant, and she came in by herself, sat at a table that had a nice view of the Space Needle. She was got aboard herself a bottle of wine, and got a salad, got an appetizer, got an entree, got a dessert. She really was treating herself, and maybe that's what some of you might need, just a treat yourself day. Even if we're in a relationship, there's nothing wrong with doing something by yourself. Maybe go and seeing a movie that you don't like, if you or you don't like seeing a movie that you do like, because maybe your partner doesn't like that movie or something along those lines. But I like this loving energy that's coming through here, Aquarius. Let's get some tarot on this and get some details. And Mars is in Libra right now. That's going to be a very romantic placement too, because I noticed things kind of spiced up a little bit, at least with some other readers that I was watching as soon as Mars started entering Libra. So, but and that forms a trine with your sign, just by the way. So, love might be a little bit easier there for you. Alright, thank you. Now let's see what's going on here, Aquarius. Oh, interesting. Alright, so we... Alright, Aquarius, so you have the Seven of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and then the Death card in reverse. And then we have the Seven of Wands here. And I feel like for some that maybe we feel that... I almost feel like with the Seven of Cups and the Knight of Cups here, it's almost maybe for some it feels like that we might be looking for love, but it feels like that maybe we feel like our options are restricted right now. I'm not sure if this is that... maybe it's like because it's been a minute since I've been on the dating scene, and that's something I've been whatever. But maybe this is something where it's like maybe it seems like you're getting like kind of maybe like the same old type of stuff. Maybe if we do like, let's say like going on apps, for example, it's like the same people or the same types of people may come in real strong at first, but then it's just like it kind of fizzles out there or something along those. I'm getting a couple of things with that. I feel like that if that's one thing, maybe if it's like, it might be for some, if we're not able to find love through one medium, maybe we need to change things up a little bit. Maybe this is going in a more kind of like social setting, kind of, because the Death card is Scorpio's card, changing stuff up. And it feels that maybe for some it's like maybe we need to go to like just get out there and try something different, maybe go to like an art gallery, or maybe there's some kind of festival going on around us, or maybe just something along those lines to kind of switch up the energies. And I know that can be a little nerve-wracking at first, even though the Knight of Cups, he's a very romantic figure, but I feel like if this is something where we're nervous, again, maybe even take like a friend with us or something like that to kind of help kind of ease this thing along. But I feel like we might be being a little too like, well, that's what I have with that one. I do kind of feel like for some others though, that there may be this energy with the Seven of Wands here where it's like we're looking for love, but we might be a little overly critical possibly. It's like maybe we've gotten hurt in the past, and which, listen, Aquarius, you're in a judgment-free zone. However you want to go about dating is your business, but I feel like that if we feel limited on options, or do we not give people a chance to really kind of prove themselves? Maybe this is something where it feels like that, because when you think about, because both these cards, for at least the Knight of Cups for me is Scorpio energy, and the Death card is Scorpio as well. It's like I feel like maybe for some it's like we might be afraid of taking things to that next level, or be afraid of like kind of opening ourselves up here, really kind of guarding our energies, because it's like you got all these energies here, like look at me, Aquarius, like Aquarius, date me, but it's just like we're just like, I feel like we're maybe a little extra on guard than we need to be. It's just like saying that we want love, and it kind of like expecting it to just like come like knock at our door, and then there to be this kind of like perfect figure or something along those lines. And it's just like maybe we're looking for that, like that soulmate level stuff, as opposed to letting things grow into that, if that makes sense, So that's something I feel like we want to be mindful of as well there, Aquarius. But oh yeah, pretty straightforward there, Aquarius. I dig that. You know what? Also, I forgot about if we're doing since we're talking about couples here as well. This might be something too where maybe we've had like like I don't know. It's like maybe we've been feeling as of late that things have. And not necessarily that we've been complaining about it, but maybe we've been feeling kind of critical because maybe our partner doesn't want to maybe kind of change things up a little bit or take something to like I don't know, like maybe either take it to a next level or try something different, or it feels like that we might be kind of restricted on maybe it's like their idea of romance is just like maybe Netflix and chill, or just like maybe going to like a movie, or and it's like I feel like maybe for some it's like we want something maybe a little more spontaneous, and maybe this is something where we kind of set this thing up and maybe give this thing a try, see if our partners are receptive to that. But if it's not, Aquarius, and this is kind of creating a problem, not saying that we're breaking up or getting a divorce or anything, but I do feel like that there's a need to kind of communicate these feelings, because I do feel like yours is a sign of, I feel like you like variety. I feel like you're very unique in how you operate. All Aquarians are very different. But yeah, I just feel like that maybe for some it's like there's a need, like maybe, and take it, maybe it's you who's wanting something to change, maybe it's a partner that's wanting something to change, but I feel like that if there's not that level of reciprocity there, I feel like at some point that can lead to potentially some kind of bitterness and things along those lines if we're not careful, and then some weirdness can kind of brew up there. So I feel like try not to keep those things, especially if this is maybe on your end, that could, because that could be a difficult thing to kind of talk about. But I feel like it's necessary for every relationship to, just like, just kind of again keep that kind of spontaneity from time to time, and just kind of, especially if maybe something's been feeling a little routine. It's not to say that you can't, that the honeymoon phase has to end just because we've been in a relationship for years. You can always do something new and exciting, and go on a romantic skydive, or I don't know, Aquarius. Really, I mean, we're really going for it. So, but there's something to think about there. But let's get another oracle on the mix. Here. Oh, interesting. That's a hard left turn. Okay, so you have the fifth card of Cancers here, which is the Urn card. And with this card, this is a card of loss, death, forfeiture, grief, closed up, bereaved, breakup, poverty, collapse, dispossess, remove, dismantle, deprive, absence, change of state, setback, it's over and done. Well, I said that, and then that's the energy that's resonating. So the energy that's coming through here, Aquarius, is the breakup. And maybe for some, if things haven't been, because I feel like that this is something where it was I feel like it's one thing that if a person is open to something, or maybe it's just like, I'm not sure if there's not this level of compromise or something, I feel that, again, this is what I was talking about. It feels like if we're not, because it sucks to say, Aquarius, but yeah, if there's not that like kind of Six of Pentacles, that reciprocity there, then I feel like that's gonna lead to where things like we kind of end up like getting in arguments, or try to create situations where we try to, I don't know, to potentially kind of break things off in a sense. Or I'm even kind of getting for some others though that, because again with the Scorpio energy, Scorpio's about depth and things along those lines. It's like really taking that Libra energy of where you get into that relationship, and then now we're getting into that next level where you get into like joint finances, and talking about like wills and things along those lines. But I feel like for some that maybe there might even be, I'm even getting some like commitment issues possibly that might come up here. That it's just like as soon as things maybe get serious, that we kind of break things off, or maybe kind of distance ourselves, or maybe kind of find things to criticize in order to protect ourselves, maybe from getting hurt, because maybe something happened in the past where our love wasn't received, and it's just so we're having maybe, and maybe this has become like a habitual thing. We're not sure how to maybe break that cycle. possibly, is another thing that's kind of coming through here, Aquarius. But it may be too. Maybe for some, it's like we might have gotten this energy of where we gotten out of a relationship and it's just like, well, I'm never gonna love again, or things along those lines. And if we got to be careful about saying those types of things, Aquarius, because your thoughts do become things. And if we rejecting love, that can be, and it's not to say that you necessarily need someone, but that is interesting for a sign of groups and networking, and of the collective and things to. And again, it's not that you have to be in a relationship or you have to get married or anything along those lines, but I do feel like that, yours is a sign that is meant to kind of connect others in a way. And this might even be too. Maybe this is like, maybe you are that like wing person. Maybe this is something where you're trying to help like a friend out and they tend to, I don't know, even like they might even get into this thing where they might get into this loop and they keep, no matter how you will get out together, maybe they be, kind of help you turn on the charm, get the thing set up, and then somehow they find something wrong with another one. I'm not quite sure. There's a quite a bit that's coming through here with this energy, but let's get some tarot on this and get some details. Hmm. Interesting. All right, let's see what's going on here, Aquarius. A small little reversal storm here. Because you have the Two of Swords upright, and then you have the Ten of Cups, the Ace of Cups, and then the Emperor in reverse. And I feel like for some, I feel like for some that maybe things have, and just again take this as it resonates. I don't feel like this is something I feel like for some we've been thinking about this maybe for a while, that maybe our happy family and things haven't been so happy as of late, that the feelings don't quite seem to be there, or I don't know, it's just like that it's something is not being fulfilled, I feel like, in a sense. And I feel like that with the Two of Swords here, we're kind of on this fence here about as far as what do we want to do next. It's almost like I feel like that, and it's not that I feel like you're having troubles necessarily breaking up, but something's keeping you here from maybe taking action, or, and that's tough, especially if this is something where it's like we've gotten into like this marriage, and maybe we have taken things where we're have gotten like shared finances or assets and things like that, and that can be a pain when we're getting into that. But if our hearts aren't being fulfilled in this aspect, then we have to consider, we have to consider that at the end of the day. And things will always get back to some sort of normalcy, but it could take some time to get there, Aquarius, if that's something that where some of you might be resonating with. But that's interesting, kind of even like how this Two of Swords here, how her swords are kind of pointing at the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Cups. It's like, do we consider our feelings or do we consider the family as a whole? Do we kind of tough this thing out, and then that's what's keeping you stuck? But that's one thing. But I do kind of feel like for some others, again, I'm almost still kind of getting this energy of a commitment issue, and I don't feel like that this doesn't have to be a relationship in like the traditional kind of sense where you have to get married and things along those lines, and it has to happen, and these kids have to happen and things. I remember working with someone. She'd been with her guy for, oh, they must have been together probably like at least a decade, and they're not married. They got two kids together and couldn't be happier. So it's just like it feels like that But I feel like that it's just like I don't know. It's like there's this. Hmm. Let me get a little bit more on this Two of Swords here, Aquarius. Hmm. Thank you. So the Two of Swords is clarified by the King of Pentacles and then the Five of Cups. And I feel like for some, it's like we've been looking for this energy of stability. You know, maybe we've been wanting to kind of approach things maybe from like a power couple type of standpoint, or maybe it's just like these when like emotions get too involved. I'm not quite sure, because I feel like yours is a sign that you understand emotions, but it's just like you understand it on a logical sense. But it's I feel like when it's really into the actual feelings of it and kind of being in it, that might prove some trickiness here, since you got your cups here in reverse, and it leads to the sense of disappointment in things along those lines. And I feel like if we have been maybe feeling disappointed in love, or maybe in this kind of constant where we fall in love and then as soon as things get serious there's like a breakup or something along those lines, so you gotta want to kind of pay attention to patterns and things like that. Because where I'm not saying that, you know, other people don't kind of play their part in that, but what do all those people have in common, Aquarius? And so those are the kind of tougher questions that we need to ask ourselves as well. Just if we've noticed that we can't seem to maybe find that happy home, happy family, you know, maybe again, maybe we're being too critical about something along those lines, or maybe there's this energy of potentially even getting bored in a sense. It's just like as soon as that romance and things, as soon as it stops becoming fun, then we dip, you know. And that's a, you got to be careful with that. I feel like, especially being a sign of networking, you know, because if we start burning all of those bridges, then that gets into a weird type of energy there. So I'm even, and take this as it resonates too, Aquarius. I'm even kind of getting for some that there's this. It's like we're looking for, again. It's like we're looking. Be mindful of the intentions that you're going in with when we're looking for love as well. You know, if we're going in looking for like trying to either build like a power couple type of deal, or maybe, you know, we're looking for more type of stability, or just I feel like it's, yeah, just being clear with your intentions as well, or being aware, because I'm not gonna put that all on you, Aquarius. Even being aware of others' intentions coming towards you as well. Maybe they're coming for stability, talking about wanting a happy family and all these emotions and things, but I don't know. It's like as soon as we maybe stop giving in a certain sense, again, there's this disappointment, or this kind of feeling let down, or something along those lines. So pay attention to that as well, there, Aquarius. Alrighty. Let's get some tea and then let's get your last oracle. Thank you. Interesting. Alright, Aquarius. So you got the sixth card of Virgos here, which is the Sap card. And with this card, this is a card of resources, needed materials, flow, wealth, essence of life, spring, blood, nourishment, sweetness, energy, vitality, grounded, roots, abundant, physical health, and life force. And the energy that's this is interesting. This has been kind of happening here lately. The energy that's actually coming through here, Aquarius, is the actual, just like the sap, you know, of this, of the title of this card. And I feel that for some, it's just like how I was talking with this King of Pentacles earlier. I feel like that for some, it feels like that there's this, and, you know, again, apply to your situation, you know, and again, Aquarius, you're in a judgment free zone, but if we're noticing that there are energies that are kind of sapping away from the Emperor here, you know, or for the King of Pentacles, that's been, you know, this, you know, whether this is one that is needing, whether it's like money, or maybe this is, I'm not sure. It's like, or even some, I feel like it's this energy of needing more than they're giving. We want to be mindful of that because I feel like that is like that's it might be cute in the moment, maybe there's, kind of have like it's all again 10 of cups at first, but over time that kind of loses its sheen there, and it loses its appeal, and then we end up in the same sort of thing, and we want to be. And even this, if this is something, be mindful again of patterns, because again, where I would not excuse someone who's done some bad things to you, or made you feel some kind of way where you don't trust love, or that you have to have your guard up, or, but we do need to feel like what signs are we missing, so that this cycle doesn't keep happening, because we're noticing the same things. That's the universe trying to get your attention, like, yo, we need a death needs to happen, in a sense, like a way of operating needs to, that's not conducive to our growth there. Maybe we're the type that is just like we put our hearts on our sleeves, and it's just like maybe we just need to make sure that we're just like matching energies and things along those lines. So yeah, let me get some tarot on that, Aquarius, and get some details. Hmm. Yeah. Let's see what's going on here, Aquarius. Wow. So, just a sidebar, Aquarius. I have to say, like, when I say I've cranked, I must have done like 8 readings today, and at least over these last few Zodiac ones, I did minus Cancers ones for my that I do every day. I've done 6 of like the regular Zodiacs, and Page of Cups has been popping up like mad, and And the nice bonus about you being the last sign that I do is just like it really kind of paying attention to this, Aquarius, because I feel like you got, well, let me tell you what's going on, because you got the 6 of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Queen of Wands in reverse, and then we have the Hierophant upright. Let's talk about before I get into all that page stuff, let's talk about the Hierophant first, because I feel like for some, especially if this is, because the Hierophant can be like a card of marriage, and let me switch back over here, Aquarius, because the Hierophant can be like a card of marriage, and I feel like for some that there may be this energy of maybe we've been feeling kind of stuck in a marriage, or in like maybe a long-term relationship, or just something where that we're invested. Maybe there's a child involved, possibly, if this is not something where, because I feel like if this was just like a regular relationship, you could just kind of break it off, and yeah, it sucks for a little while, but there's no assets involved in that. But if there's just something a little bit deeper where there's children involved, that does get a little bit trickier. And I feel that there is this energy of where we may need to revise some things, or that's not what I'm looking for either, where we may, where things will change with how that dynamic is. I feel like it is something possible that we just don't have to stay in something that is taking away from us, in a sense, that's really kind of, again, draining our energies, and in not, being in this kind of forcing ourselves to think that we're in like 10 of Cups type of energy, or stay in this like almost like a broken family, in a sense. So that's something to be mindful of there. Now for some others, when I was talking about that sort of like, I got a few things with the Hierophant here. Now for some others, when we were talking about as far as like maybe finding relationships in like a traditional kind of standpoint. I feel like maybe for some it's just like what we're looking for. Maybe we're trying to force ourselves into like this sort of like happy home, happy family. We want to be this family person that's all about the marriage and things, and but we still, but I don't know. I feel like with the Queen of Wands, and because maybe even for some, this might even be, and we're in a different age now. Maybe this is something where we might want to be in like an open type of thing. The Queen of Wands, she's an attractive figure, and she may not want to feel kind of locked down and things like that. But I feel that if that's something you want to do, Aquarius, and that's something that communication is very key and very express our intentions there. That's another thing that's kind of coming through here, but I'm even kind of feeling like for some others that there's a need, like it's like all we might be considering is the passion. I feel like with the Queen of Wands here, but for some it's like we're not considering how that may be hurting others possibly, or maybe even on the flip side, maybe some others like they just want something passionate, just fun for you, but your feelings aren't being considered as well. That's something too where we may just need to be mindful of, again, the people that are coming into our lives, and maybe just changing up how we go about maybe dating, or how we go. Relationships are tricky. Because I tell you what, I've been actually having a conversation with someone about this kind of here lately, and I tell you what, like, because I got divorced last year, or like kind of late in the year last year, and I'm kind of dreading that idea of getting back out there and seeing what that looks like. That's something too. While we're talking about that, I'm actually glad that I said that, because maybe for some others, we are having troubles of getting out there. You might be looking good, but you just might not be feeling it. It's like that you can get in a relationship, but it's just like, do you want to do that again? Do you want to go through that whole dance of messiness and like what people want, and your romance, and then the flip flop and all the apps, and it's a lot. But it's a whole lot. I feel like that's going on in this reading, Aquarius. And I feel like overall, because love is changing, and how things we go about this stuff is always evolving and things. And I feel like with the Hierophant, this is Taurus energy. And I feel like there's just be an energy of being patient, and I know how that seems, but everything comes in divine timing. But I do feel that if you have been feeling these, if we are looking for love, I feel like with Taurus energy, that can be kind of slower moving energy. The Hierophant in another deck, in the Thoth deck, he moves like every two, and takes a step every 2,000 years. And we don't quite have that luxury yet there, Aquarius. So we just want to be mindful of that too, I feel like, as well. And just like maybe not letting past experience kind of hold us back from experiencing something new. Allow the Queen of Wands to kind of roam free, feel kind of sexy for a little bit, see how she's, see what you find. But whew. All right, Aquarius. I think I'm gonna jump off that roller coaster. I hope that all made sense, because it was a lot kind of coming through there. But if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Aquarius, if you know someone who's maybe been having some sort of like, been thinking about love, and all the different avenues. Maybe we've been going through breakups, or maybe we're falling in love, or maybe someone's been sapping from our energies, or however that might be resonating, Aquarius. And then share this thing, you Hierophant. And I don't know why I'm treating you. I just want you to be the Hierophant, because the Hierophant is wise there too, Aquarius. You're a wise sign. But subscribe, Hierophant, and hit that bell button. You'll get notified when I have these videos each week. And then lastly, well, other than your Oracle card, it's like you have a little Cancerian energy there, so not that you need it, but if you have any Cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to the Chariot, friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans. You can meet Rhonda. It's the whole thing. She's all about love. Well, maybe. I don't know. But it's a good old time. And we can come over and find out. Maybe I'll ask her next time. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here. Oh, interesting. So I can get you out of here, Aquarius. And you got the Justice card in reverse. And so a few things with this, because this is Libra energy with the Justice, and I feel like for some that if we're in some sort of like more sort of kind of like a legal thing where we're dealing with like custody, or we're dealing with like assets, possibly maybe going through a breakup or a divorce or something along those lines, know that you're not going to be in that cycle forever. But I feel like just being mindful of, think long game, where, they're, because I know someone who's kind of going through some nonsense, and there is, we could easily blow things up and get an emperor energy, but I feel like there's a time and a place, kind of let this thing kind of play, again, patience, let this thing kind of play out as it needs to play out. But I'm also kind of getting for some others there that if there's a, I don't know, it's like if the relationship hasn't been feeling imbalanced, that we may need to, I don't know, or like, yeah, something is needing to be adjusted there, maybe in like a relationship, whether this is like adding some romance in our lives or something along those lines, Aquarius. Excuse me. I'm almost even kind of maybe getting some like a bitter, and a bitter energy for some, and we want to be mindful of, maybe I remember talking with someone, they were just like, oh, that person broke out, let's put a curse on them. And it's just like, no, let's not do that, because they're like wishing ill on someone, because what you put out there, you get back, Aquarius. So that's something we want to pay attention to there. And it's a lot of energy that's coming through here. But let me get your oracle card so I can get you out of here, because I can keep here all day talking about this. Running through like all hundreds some odd scenarios here. But that is interesting too, because those are your only majors. So you got Libra and Aries, the Emperor, who are opposite signs, and then you got the zodiac wheel, and then you got the Hierophant, Taurus, and Death card Scorpio, which are opposite signs of the zodiac wheel. And I bring that up when you talk about oppositions. Oppositions are relationships or situations that force you to make a decision. And so I feel like that maybe for some, where, pay attention to we may have some decision. And I mean, Leo or Venus is opposing your sign right now. So in wherever your Aquarius placements are at. So, you might be, pay attention to how you're interacting with others, and, your relationships and things. You might be just something to pay attention to, Aquarius. Interesting. All right, so you got the first card here, Aquarius, which is the Yang card. And I feel like for some, it's just like we're looking for our yin, like that's interesting that you got the Yang with the Emperor here, and it's just like missing our Empress, and again, it's not a gender specific reading, however this is applying here, but that's kind of what the energy that's coming through here right now. It's just like that maybe for some, it's just like we're missing that other half and figuring out what that means. But keep in mind, Aquarius, that you don't need a person to make you feel whole. You are whole by yourself. It's just when we get with someone else who's also balanced out as well, then it just elevates it even more so, so that's something to think about. And that might be too, maybe we're not finding someone because we might be maybe more in our Emperor energy, kind of leaning into that masculine, and that sort of like that energy, and it's just like we maybe need to pull back and lean into more of our Empress side of the energy, but so that's something to pay attention to there, Aquarius. But I think I'm going to leave that there, because and I'm about to keep here all day. So you stay safe out there. A lot of these relationships and paying attention to things along those lines. There's a whole bunch. I feel like I was just talking a million miles a minute. And you raise your vibration through the roof. Because this is a lot when you're thinking about this type of stuff. And that is, sometimes, yeah, it's just raise your vibration to the roof. And like I was talking about earlier, maybe for some of you, take yourself out on a date. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.